See, what Paul was doing in Acts 17 was taking them off that wrong road, giving them a whole new beginning, the right start. When Paul did this, then what did he do? Then he presented the Acts 2 message, the message of the cross. Talked about the resurrection. And look what happened. 3 different responses. Some mocked like last time, but some said, we'll hear you again. Their hearts were opened, and some believed. Wow. Now, here's the thing that really burdens me. I look at that and I say, that is incredible. Paul was going to outright pagans and some were converted. God obviously is the one that opened their heart and raised them from the dead. I say that to you for this reason. Do you know what many seminary professors, Bible college professors in this nation tell their students? I've heard it myself. And in fact, not that long ago, I picked up a little devotional booklet that's printed for a particular group of churches. I found this one in the Michigan area, actually, for some of the Reformed churches. Oh, and I read one of the devotions, and I just felt like crying. Look what it says. Paul came to Corinth speaking the gospel in simple terms. He had just journeyed there from Athens, where he had drawn on his education to try to communicate the gospel in the style of a philosopher. The result, the great missionary fell flat on his face. I can picture him entering into his diary. Don't ever try this again. The cross doesn't need my verbal decorations. Oh, Paul was so unsuccessful. People, that's what some seminary professors are telling students in America. Don't use the method Paul used in Acts 17. He didn't get many responses. Use the method in Acts 2. The method in Acts 2 requires an Acts 2 type culture to understand it. Paul was phenomenally successful. Do you know what Paul had to do? Using the terms Greeks and Jews as types, he had to turn Greeks into Jews. He was preaching people who had the wrong foundation. He had to take out the wrong foundation. It was like coming in to build a building like this. Somebody put the foundation there. It was the wrong one. We're going to dig it all up and start all over again. It's a much more difficult task. See, start to think about this. Generations ago, when America was more like the Jews, our whole Western world was to one degree or another, preach the message of the cross, people by and large would understand. But you come into the present world where our culture is much more like the Greeks. Whole generations brought up in an education system devoid of the knowledge of God. If anything, Christianity, the Bible, is taught against, mocked, scoffed, openly mocked in our culture. They're taught about many gods. And you preach the message of the cross and it's foolishness unto them.